everybody. My kitchen smells so good. B is working on his beef and barley soup. We're going to put the instructions in this post or this article, and let's watch him do some of the steps along the way. Here we go.
Trying to cut away as much of this fat here that's not marbling. That would be marbling.
So when you're buying this kind of meat, do you want to look for meat that doesn't have as much marbling?
You always want to buy beef that has marbling in it. That's what keeps it from drying out, and that's really what makes it tender. All this marbling here will cook up. You'll never know it with the end product. Okay, now that I've got this in my pan here, I'm gonna put a little oil in it just to keep them sticking a little bit, but I want to brown this beef a little bit before it goes in the crock pot. But I've cut this on a medium heat now, so I kind of want to just sear it. One of the neat things we want to show you, for the longest time we've always used this as a cheese knife. Then one day T told me it made a real good potato peeler, and she was right.
Watch this.
I actually think it's better than a potato peeler. I've never liked using those actually, but this peels that potato about as quick as you can peel one. I'm gonna start with cutting the ends off of these, and I'm not gonna string them because we're gonna cook this celery up, and I'm gonna chop it up so the strings will cook up in there. If we were eating them raw, we would try to string that, keep them from being so tough. We're gonna split them down the middle and make a smaller dice piece, make it a little bit easier. Recipe calls for about 4 cloves of garlic. I'm gonna do 5, just because. One thing about chopping garlic, peeling it, you gotta get this outer skin off. One of the ways that I use, and probably you already know this, but if you'll just kind of pop that thing down, that outer layer will come off. All right, we're gonna load all of our ingredients now. We've got the meat browned and everything chopped up. So we got these chunks of chuck roast browned up for the most part, and I'm not straining that. It's not a lot of grease to that. That will just be more flavor. So we're gonna add our vegetables, and that was about 3 pounds, 2.5 pounds of meat. 2.5, 3 pounds of potatoes here. This is a little bit heavier, but hey, can't go wrong with beef and potatoes, right?
We must have a lot of company coming.
Carrots. I'm just using Hunt's plain. Okay, black pepper, we're gonna put about 1/4 of a teaspoon. I probably got a little bit more. This is one area that I look at recipes. I'm not real exact. So if you're one of those, please forgive me. This is a 1/2 teaspoon of kosher salt. And again, I kind of spilled over there. Did my seasoning thing. Ground thyme. And I'm gonna use 1/2 teaspoon of that. Then I got bay leaves. I am going to use a couple of bay leaves in here. Let's put 3, they're low. And then 2 beef bouillon cubes. Help that beef flavor. And then of course, Worcestershire sauce, I think goes in about everything. So we're gonna put about a tablespoon of that. Again, maybe a little bit more. That's kind of what I do. And beef broth, we're gonna put this whole container here in half of the other one. So that's about 48 ounces. I actually will probably have to go back and add a little more broth because I've added extra beef and extra potatoes, a little bit of extra everything. The recipe does call for barley. It actually calls for pearl barley. I'm not even sure what that is. I bought this barley. And you really don't want to put it in at the beginning because it will just cook up too much from what I understand. So we're going to wait about halfway and add that barley. So I'm stirring all this up and get ready to cut the crock pot on and let this cook for 4 or 5 hours until all the vegetables get tender. But there we have it. Beef barley, or soon to be barley soup.
So we were going to end the video with that beautiful picture of this soup, but I just have to tell you, but this has probably moved up into my top 2 favorites. It is so good. It's got just a hint of a tomato taste. The broth, the beef broth, I love it. You gotta try this.